AWS Interview Questions 1. Define and explain the three basic types of cloud services and the AWS products that are built based on them. The three basic types of cloud services are computing, storage, networking. Here are some of the AWS products that are built based on the three cloud service types. Computing, these include EC2, Elastic Beanstalk, Lambda, Autoscaling, and Lightsat. Storage, these include S3, Glacier, Elastic Block Storage, Elastic File System. Networking, these include VPC, Amazon CloudFront, Route 53. 2. What is the relation between the availability zone and region? AWS regions are separate geographical areas, like the US West 1, North California, and Asia South, Mumbai. On the other hand, availability zones are the areas that are present inside the regions. These are generally isolated zones that can replicate themselves whenever required. 3. What is autoscaling? Autoscaling is a function that allows you to provision and launch new instances whenever there is a demand. It allows you to automatically increase or decrease resource capacity in relation to the demand. 4. What is geo-targeting in CloudFront? Geo-targeting is a concept where businesses can show personalized content to their audience based on their geographic location without changing the URL. This helps you create customized content for the audience of a specific geographical area, keeping their needs in the forefront. 5. What are the steps involved in a CloudFormation solution? Here are the steps involved in a CloudFormation solution. CloudFormation. Create or use an existing CloudFormation template using JSON or YAML format. Save the code in an S3 bucket, which serves as a repository for the code. Use AWS CloudFormation to call the bucket and create a stack on your template. CloudFormation reads the file and understands the services that are called, their order, the relationship between the services, and provisions the services one after the other. Master's Program, AWS Cloud Architect. Become an expert in Amazon Web Services. Enroll no Master's Program, AWS Cloud Architect. 6. How do you upgrade or downgrade a system with near zero downtime? You can upgrade or downgrade a system with near zero downtime using the following steps of migration. Open EC2 console. Choose Operating System AMI. Launch an instance with a new instance type. Install all the updates. Install applications. Test the instance to see if it's working. If working, deploy the new instance and replace the older instance. Once it's deployed, you can upgrade or downgrade the system with near zero downtime. Take home these interview Q&As and get much more. Download the complete AWS interview guide here. 7. What are the tools and techniques that you can use in AWS to identify if you are paying more than you should be, and how to correct it? You can know that you are paying the correct amount for the resources that you are using by employing the following resources. Check the top services table. It is a dashboard in the cost management console that shows you the top 5 most used services. This will let you know how much money you are spending on the resources in question. Cost Explorer. There are Cost Explorer services available that will help you to view and analyze your usage costs for the last 13 months. You can also get a cost forecast for the upcoming 3 months. AWS Budgets. This allows you to plan a budget for the services. Also, it will enable you to check if the current plan meets your budget and the details of how you use the services. Cost Allocation Tags. This helps in identifying the resource that has cost more in a particular month. It lets you organize your resources and cost allocation tags to keep track of your AWS costs. 8. Is there any other alternative tool to log into the cloud environment other than Console? That can help you log into the AWS resources are PuTTY, AWS CLI for Linux, AWS CLI for Windows, AWS CLI for Windows CMD, AWS SDK, Eclipse. 9. What services can be used to create a centralized logging solution? The essential services that you can use are Amazon CloudWatch logs, store them in Amazon S3, and then use Amazon Elasticsearch to visualize them. You can use Amazon Kinesis Firehose to move the data from Amazon S3 to Amazon Elasticsearch. Centralized logging. Free course, Getting Started with AWS. Learn the fundamentals of AWS. Enroll no free course, Getting Started with AWS 10. What are the native AWS security logging capabilities? Most of the AWS services have their logging options. Also, some of them have an account-level logging, like in AWS CloudTrail, AWS Config, and others. Let's take a look at two services in specific. AWS Cloud Trail. This is a service that provides a history of the AWS API calls for every account. It lets you perform security analysis, resource change tracking, and compliance auditing of your AWS environment as well. The best part about this service is that it enables you to configure it to send notifications via AWS SNS when new logs are delivered. AWS Config. This helps you understand the configuration changes that happen in your environment. This service provides an AWS inventory that includes configuration history, configuration change notification, and relationships between AWS resources. It can also be configured to send information via AWS SNS when new logs are delivered. 11. What is a DDoS attack, and what services can minimize them? DDoS is a cyber attack in which the perpetrator accesses a website and creates multiple sessions so that the other legitimate users cannot access the service. The native tools that can help you deny the DDoS attacks on your AWS services are AWS Shield, AWS WAF, Amazon Route 53, Amazon CloudFront, ELB VPC. DDoS attack. Become an AWS wizard with our in-depth Cloud Architect Masters program. Enroll now. 12. You are trying to provide a service in a particular region, but you do not see the service in that region. Why is this happening, and how do you fix it? Not all Amazon AWS services are available in all regions. When Amazon initially launches a new service, it doesn't get immediately published in all the regions. They start small and then slowly expand to other regions. So, if you don't see a specific service in your region, chances are the service hasn't been published in your region yet. However, if you want to get the service that is not available, you can switch to the nearest region that provides the services. 13. How do you set up a system to monitor website metrics in real time in AWS? Amazon CloudWatch helps you to monitor the application status of various AWS services and custom events. It helps you to monitor state changes in Amazon EC2, auto-scaling lifecycle events, scheduled events, AWS API calls, console sign-in events. Amazon CloudWatch. 14. What are the different types of virtualization in AWS, and what are the differences between them? The three major types of virtualization in AWS are hardware virtual machine, HVM. It is a fully virtualized hardware, where all the virtual machines act separate from each other. These virtual machines boot by executing a master boot record in the root block device of your image. Paravirtualization, PV. Paravirtualization grub is the bootloader that boots the PV AMIs. The PV grub chain loads the kernel specified in the menu. Paravirtualization on HVM. PV on HVM helps operating systems take advantage of storage and network I/O available through the host. 15. Name some of the AWS services that are not region-specific. AWS services that are not region-specific are IAM, Route 53, Web Application Firewall, CloudFront. 16. What are the differences between NAT gateways and NAT instances? While both NAT gateways and NAT instances serve the same function, they still have some key differences. Differences. 17. What is Cloud Watch? The Amazon Cloud Watch has the following features. Depending on multiple metrics, it participates in triggering alarms. Helps in monitoring the AWS environments like CPU utilization, EC2, Amazon RDS instances, Amazon SQS, S3, load balancer, SNS, etc. 20. What are some of the security best practices for Amazon EC2? Security best practices for Amazon EC2 include using Identity and Access Management, IAM, to control access to AWS resources, restricting access by only allowing trusted hosts or networks to access ports on an instance, only opening up those permissions you require, and disabling password-based logins for instances launched from your AMI. 21. Can S3 be used with EC2?